Good afternoon, everyone. We're just going to give it a few more minutes for the rest of whoever joins us, even though it's 1 o'clock. I'm unfortunately in my car. I just had not a family emergency, but a family situation. So ideally, I wouldn't be in my car right now. But if most of us were new agents or people wanting to build a team, because that obviously affects the nature of how I would conduct this Zoom. Is there any way we can all answer the chat if you're interested in building a team or interested in joining a team? So we can discuss the benefits of either or. Or you can just put the unmute and just say it. That's fine too. Building a team. Eric, okay. Anyone else? So in that case, I'm going to go over both. So from the standpoint of a new agent, and I mean, feel free to unmute at any point and ask me questions. Just to give you a breakdown, let me start out. My name is Sherry Lebowitz. I am the partner for Plantation. I also am a team leader. I have a team of 7 people. It's something that I began after coming to Lifestyle. Before Lifestyle, I did not yet have a team, and it took a little trial and error. But now we're one of the top teams in Lifestyle, and not the largest. So we're doing really well, and we've had some really strong agents emerge over the past year. There's some great aspects if you're a newer agent to joining a team. So the primary is you get usually a top producing agent as your team leader. Granted, you have your managing partner at your branch, you have your branch manager. This is great. But as a team leader, you have them as, I don't want to say 24/7 because that's not what I mean, but pretty consistent access to your team leader, who is obviously, a plethora of knowledge and has had way more experience than you have. Teams are structured differently. So teams have different splits. So in addition to your split to Lifestyle, you also have a split with your team leader. What are they providing to you besides guidance and mentorship? They're also oftentimes providing you leads. They're providing you like a sense of camaraderie. You become a close-knit family with your team, and regular meetings. In the case of my team, we have a chat which just runs, literally that chat does run 24/7. When someone has a question, someone else is always there to answer, just like the general chat, but kind of at a higher, more specific level. We provide a lot of leads from realtor.com. We used to use Zillow, but we found Realtor to be more successful. We just have different quarterly gatherings together, and we've really been able to emerge. Javier, who you might have seen a Zoom with or now podcast, because he's doing podcasts, which is so exciting. But Javier started 2 years ago as a brand new agent. His first year, he didn't produce anything. He was answering all of the leads. Nothing was happening. In the last 6 months of his first year, he was able to produce $5 million in real estate from leads. This year, Javi's going to close the year at 16 or 17 million. He's a top producer in Lifestyle, a top producer anywhere you go. And the majority of that has been from leads and from converting. And I really, I feel great. So for me, jumping steps a little as a team leader, I can tell you that is the greatest benefit. Yes, I make a little bit of extra income. It also gives me a lot of opportunity to, have other people do open houses, which I have that without the team too, or like showings. But the greatest benefit of anything is seeing other people rise to the top, rise to the occasion, and become very successful, because it can be life-changing. It's not just Javier. I mean, Shirley, she's a new agent. She's working on her 3rd or 4th contract right now. One was a lender referral of mine, and the rest for leads. And she has a listing that she was able to get from one of those referrals. Cassie's on the team now. She's working with one of my clients this evening that she's able to work with me on. Eloisa came from Keller Williams, already experienced, and she's just always doing great. She has a closing today. Jamie as well. She came from Keller Williams. She went to Keller Williams with me and came from Keller Williams to Lifestyle with me, and she's doing amazing too. Had a great year. So I'd like to say I'm really proud of them, but that's the greatest benefit, is seeing having a hand, and granted it's their work and their effort, but having a hand in their success is definitely fulfilling, because you get to the point in this business where you become a top producer, you start to make money, and then there has to be like the purpose and the meaning, and nothing greater than helping others. So when you're deciding to team build, everyone thinks, oh, I want to hire 6 agents to be on my team. But your first hire in any team formation, can anyone guess who it is? Anyone? Idea, chat, off mute.
Yourself?
Well, no, that's a good guess, but your best hire is always your assistant. So for every team member, it costs you money before you make it, but your assistant makes you money. So your very first hire before you build a team should be an assistant, whether it's a VA or an in-house assistant. If you get to the point where your production is so good, where you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, your first hire is an assistant. And really the model of team building is you should hire 2 assistants before you even start to build a team. So your first hire is your assistant or assistants. Your second hire is a buyer's agent, because the goal for all of us should be to become listing agents. The numerical value on that is for every 1 listing that you have. Do I have this backwards? For every 1 buyer that you have, you could do 4 listings. So the amount of time you put into 1 buyer, you could do 3 to 4 listings. So the goal to scale your business is to do more listings. So your first hire becomes a buyer's agent. So when you hire, or when you're joining a team to become a buyer's agent, you then take care of the buyers for your team lead, and then you get a split with your team lead for those buyers. So a lot of times, now just to jump ship again here and go back to from the person who wants to join a team, the most common thought process is, but wait, I'm already splitting with my brokerage. Why do I want to split? I mean, whether it's 30, 40, 50% with a team leader, because now I'm only making 50% or 70%, then I still have to pay my brokerage. But when you're doing 1 to 3 deals a year and you do the math, and now you're suddenly doing 8 or 9 or 10 or 12 or 15, what works out better? So that's the reason that you join a team. 1, you get to learn the business. 2, you get to scale your business, and you get to be part of something great. As a team leader, now you've been able to hand over your buyers, and you've been able to scale your business by focusing more on your listings. So once you have the buyer's agent, now you're going to move into another buyer's agent. Then you're going to start to bring other listing specialists into your group. That's the model. My team, we're just a little bit mixed up. We do a little bit of everything. I still do some buyers. I do predominantly listings. I don't answer my own leads. My team all gets leads. The ones that are really excelling, they get their own zip codes. So everyone has access to a lot of leads. We probably get 4 to 5 leads a day. The conversion rate on leads is, I believe, 4 to 6% on average. We convert way higher. My team is amazing. We did a lot of training on that, how to answer calls, how to convert. We probably should step that up a little with the newer agents to join the team, but they're doing great. Our newest, I left out Ruben, our newest team member, Ruben, on his, I think, first 2 weeks, he was able to convert a buyer lead to a listing who will soon be buying. So there's so many opportunities with leads. And as a new agent, or as a solo agent, it's really hard to be able to afford the scale of leads that you need to become successful. So you do gain that benefit by joining into a team that already has a system in place to purchase leads. And it's just celebratory. It's nice to see your team win. It's nice to see your team mates, team members, and your group to win as well. So it's just a sense of pride. And it's, as a team leader, again, it's a sense of satisfaction. Any questions so far? Somebody? Is anyone interested in, not my team necessarily, but is anyone interested in joining a team? Do you want to know how to join a team? Like, what are the questions lingering in team structure?
For the assistants.
So the average, so I'll tell you. No, go ahead. It's okay. We'll come back to that one. For the
assistants.
Shahida?
Yes, I'm sorry. For the assistants, are you talking about a VA or a transaction coordinator, or one and the same?
No, they're a little bit different. So a transaction coordinator is something that as soon as you know, it's really good to understand the whole deal process before getting a transaction coordinator, or doing it along with the transaction coordinator so you understand. But in my opinion, and it's something I didn't do until probably year 7, you should have a transaction coordinator right out of the gate, because it allows you to focus more on generating new business. And that's really what we need to be doing at all times, is generating new business, not focusing on our current business only. So by having a transaction coordinator, that takes a lot of the weight off your shoulders. An assistant does a lot more. So I can tell you, I have 2 assistants. My main assistant, she does my transaction coordinating. She does all of my CRM management, which is a pretty full-time job. We have a pretty active CRM. She does all of my backend, my compliance, my CDAs to get paid. She updates all of my numbers, because you should be tracking all of your numbers at all times. She does everything. So when it comes to social media posts, to creating the emails for the CRM, I then got another assistant that does that for her and for our team members and for a few other people. So the Instagram, the Facebook, all of that is managed by a second assistant for her. So they're both VAs. One is located in the Philippines, one is located in Venezuela. And I think that for me is suffice, even at the numbers of business that I do. I don't think I need an in-house assistant. One, because as you see, I'm in my car right now, which was completely unintentional, but here I am. So one, I'm in my car a lot. I'm a single mom with a lot of kids and a lot going on, a lot of moving parts. So I'm just on the move a lot. And I just don't think a sit-still assistant in the office is necessarily conducive to the way I run my business. So the VA has been a great compromise. Not even a compromise, because I think they do better than, or as well as anyone could do in person.
How did you find them?
Geneva is through a company. She's the one in the Philippines. She's been with me this January 1st or 3rd, makes 4 years. So she's almost like family at this point. She's visited us here at the office. She's going to come again. She's about to go her visa again. I found her through a company called Cyber Backer. So cyber, like the word cyber, and the last word is backer, Backer. You can look them up. I can refer you if you want a referral. They have, like, Geneva was summa cum laude in international business and accounting. You get to interview 6 people, you get videos first of more, then you narrow it down, you get to interview, and you make your choice from there. They go through like a 2-week training. It's a little bit more intense. Amy, she's from Venezuela, and she's with a company that I want to say it's affiliated with Lifestyle. John Aarons runs the company. I can help you with that as well. Slightly less expensive. Obviously bilingual, which is it's a benefit here, especially, and also very like well trained and a great company as well. I think they're strong in different ways. I think it's important to try to don't just go online and look for VA, or don't just answer a text, because they're going to be handling a lot of your personal information. I mean, Geneva could hack my whole life, and I trust her without any doubt ever, but that took some time, obviously. But yeah, you want to be referred to a company for sure. As far as the splits I've heard all over the place. So some of the team members on my team, they came from another team, and in that team, the splits were 50-50 for buyers. Then they paid their brokerage fee to their broker, which is a lot more than Lifestyle. And then for listings, they only got 30%. It was a 70-30 split, with them getting 30. That's typical in a lot of teams, believe it or not. I've talked to other teams here in Lifestyle, and we have a lot that are 50-50 with leads, 90-10 with your own deals. Some teams in Lifestyle or other places, like everything, like especially the one that my team members came from, everything is the same, whether they're your own deals, it could be your uncle, or it could be a stranger, and you're going to pay the same team split. My split's a little bit lighter. I just believe in team retention as opposed to team, having a lot of people circulate. I want to see people win. I want people to stay with me for years. So I do a 70-30 split with leads, and a 90-10 with your uncle, your best friend, the lady you met down the street. That's my splits. They're probably on the lighter side, but again, that's just because I'm not looking to get rich off of my team. I'm looking to keep my head above water, make a little something extra. And also see them succeed, and I want to see them succeed with me for years, not leave in 6 months. I mean, the money that you make as a team leader, it's depending on your splits, depending what you're providing. I mean, it's not, my production is still the main source of my income, but I had a lot going on this year. I had opened plantation at the end of 2023. So I had a new office. I had a lot going on personally, and my production dropped a little bit, which next year it's going to double, but that's beside the point. But with that drop, because of the team, I was able to maintain the same income that I had made the year before with the higher production. So there is benefit to be made. You definitely have to make partnerships with lenders, because you need a lender who's on board with you to do a split, which is completely legal, as long as it's 50-50. You need to have those partners in place, and your team needs to understand that they need to work with your partners, because otherwise you're coming out of pocket a lot. And every month you're taking the chance that if your team doesn't close deals, you're out of pocket for all of those expenses, from leads to marketing and so forth. We have a website, which is, a very nice website. We, have dialers, et cetera, et cetera. So all of that costs money. So you are responsible for that. So your gross that you make from your team is nothing compared to what your net is. Your net is obviously way less. So you want to definitely have those great snipers on your team that are really quick at answering calls and really great at follow up. Any other questions so far? So if I were to go back, I've been in the business for, I want to say 12 years, 12, going on 13 or going on 12. I have to do the math. But I didn't join a team. I joined a mom and pop brokerage where I was the only agent. Then I opened my own brokerage, and from there I went to KW for a few years, and then I came to Lifestyle. And I never really had the opportunity early on in my career to join a team. So looking back, I would 100% have joined a team, because I think that I would much rather, at 7 years in, I was doing $3.5 million. At 10 years in, I was doing 25 million. I think I could have hit that level of production far earlier had I had a mentor, had I had the opportunity to learn how to convert, and had I had the access to not just, and I'm a firm believer that your number one lead source is your database, the people you trust, know, who refer you, who you talk to, who you do business with. That's always going to be your number one source. It should be. But had I had access to leads, I think I would have been able to accelerate my production way quicker. Well, I'm not going to just attribute it to teams, but putting a CRM into place and reaching out to all of my contacts on a regular basis definitely made the difference. And having the latitude to build that coming to Lifestyles given me has been a great opportunity as well. When you build a team, I know there's a lot of teams out there. Like Levon is amazing. Obviously, he's our number one in the company. He has a huge team and they do just incredibly great. But in my opinion, for the average person, and from my experience, it's a little bit better to keep the team small, especially at first, before you scale to large. I'm very slow and very particular now in who I bring onto the team, just to keep the personality dynamic well, and just to make sure that I don't like to use the word dead weight, but just that we have people that are working, that want to work, because every team member is energy and money. And as much as I want everyone to succeed on my team, I definitely want people that are running at the same pace. Any questions? I feel like I'm on a soapbox talking a lot. Let me see who's on here that I can call out. So no, I recognize some of your names. I mean, there's a few of you on here that are doing good business on your own. And obviously finding that, and it doesn't even need just to be a team. Like, the one thing that you do want to know is that the person that you join hands with is a producer. You want to look at their numbers. You want to verify probably their numbers to make sure they're closing deals. They've been in business. Even if you have a person that's been in business 2 years and say they're closing $10 million a year for 2 years. The reality is that they're doing great, but have they crossed all of the bridges, all of the mishaps, all of the mix-ups? They just don't have the experience level yet in their business that I personally would want to join with them as a team leader. I would look for someone who was a little bit of a veteran, had some years, has done a ton of deals, because you want to be able to lean on their shoulder through almost everything. You also don't have to find someone who has 10 people on a team or 6 people on a team. It can be someone who's doing great and they're just struggling a little bit, and you could say, hey, would you want to work together? And right there, I mean, granted, they should have the assistant first based on the model, but right there, now you've started a team. So let's say I have a friend of mine who's also in my office, and she's been in the business a while. She should be doing 10 million. She's doing 5 million, mostly because she doesn't have the time within her life to cultivate all of the leads that she has. So for someone like her, she should be running a team probably, and a small team at that. So that's something like you can find someone like that and say, hey, are you interested in building, and I would love to work with you. You think it's a good idea? So regarding new agents, Kat, I said I wasn't going to bring any new agents onto my team, and I immediately brought a new agent. I think it depends on the person, the work ethic. Are they working another job? Do they understand what it takes? Shirley was a new agent when I brought her onto my team. She was a little slow at first, just like soaking in everything, just learning. And now we're almost a year, or just a year later, and she's just a year later, and she's closing her, I want to say it's her 4th deal, and has a listing. And that's all, like the 4 deals are in the listing. That's team generated deals, but she was a brand new agent. So I definitely would be contradicting myself if I said, no, don't bring new agents. I think when I advertised for a team member, I advertised you had to do, I think, 3 or 5 deals, just because you don't necessarily want to be teaching someone how to write a contract or how to, how to show a property or use a Supra. It's just, you have to be realistic and time efficient as well. And that's not really what you are as a team leader. I did have a team before this with a partner, and we had a lot of new agents, and it was a bit of a nightmare. The expectations were really high, and I'm working on a level where I want to be helping people to negotiate deals. I want to be helping people to get to the closing table. And I feel like learning to write a contract and, learning how to, I can definitely like help someone how to, generate leads or farm. But as far as the basics, I don't really want to be sitting there at this point. I don't have the time. It's not even do I want to be, I just don't have the time. So that's a personal question. And I think it really depends on the person, that particular new agent. But ideally, you want to have agents on your team that have at least produced several, gotten to closing several times, because that gets you over that hump. Mentorship is better for brand new agents, where they just go 50-50 with a branch manager, because they really need their hands held through everything. Any other questions? So, if you're looking to join a team, again, I'll just sum it up now. I would find someone, that's close by you, that, works a similar area. Someone who's accessible and who's producing a lot and somewhat systematic and organized. It's a little bit hard to work with someone if they're not organized as well. And if you're looking to build a team, start with your assistant. Get your systems in order before you build your team. Become systematic. Have your CRM in place. Have your assistant in place, because things get heavy very fast. You need someone to be there with you that you can throw things at, because your business starts to take off and you need to have support in the background. And then you start to hire well. Just like, are we here still? Yeah, I'm on my phone in my car, sorry. Just like when you, they say when you buy a flip, right? You win on the buy. You win on a team when you win on the hire. So make sure that you hire well, because it's not fun to fire. None of us want to say, this isn't working out. So take time to hire well, do a 90-day trial period and see if that time it's working out for both of you, if it's setting, meeting the expectations on both ends. And that's how you build your team. I'm always here for any questions. I'll put my number in the chat, whether it's team building, CRM, hiring an assistant, feel free to reach out to me. Did I type correctly? Hold on. Go ahead. Again, I apologize for being in my car. I am a mom as well as a producer, a team leader, and running several businesses in a branch, and sometimes things don't go as planned, and this was one of them, but I hope that you were able to gain some productive information out of this. It's still the same information. And again, just reach out to me if you have any questions.